NuubCast.
Greetings, fellow noobs. Welcome to another NuubCast. This is Blomus bringing you another PVT from the land of the bronze, baby. That's right. We've got... that was Shaky. The Shaky Protoss, which I'm sure he will prove his namesake in this bronze level game. And his opponent, one of the newest submitters to NuubCast, Kal-El. SSJ, no idea what it stands for, but this is Kal-El. Kal-El has tried on numerous occasions to get replays through the screening process, and this is the first one that's made it through, so I want to applaud Kal-El for his perseverance. Because again, he's had several replays denied, and sometimes that can be very discouraging. If you send a replay after replay and you think they're good games, and you get them sent back saying, nah, not quite there yet. But you keep sending in, and definitely really appreciate that perseverance. Really appreciate your support of the channel, Kal-El, and so glad that we finally got one that's up to snuff, baby. That's right. If you would like to have your games cast on NuubCast, please send your replay to noobcast@gmail.com. Please make sure you watch them first. I only have one screener, and he's doing it for free. I'm doing this for free, so our time that is not StarCraft related is very valuable. So don't want to waste anybody's time by having crappy games come in. So please make sure you watch your replays. Make sure they're as good as you thought they were when you played them the second time through when you watch them. And that means we don't want to see like super turtly games. You know, if your game's 30 minutes long, there's only one attack at 25 minutes, not a good candidate. If you have a 25-minute game, there's only one attack, period, not a good candidate. We like to see lots of back and forth. We want to see, you know, which kinds of, it works against some of the lower levels because it's really hard to be aggressive when you're still learning the ropes of the game. But, you know, it's okay if there's only a few attacks, you know, maybe one poking attack, and then there's a bigger attack at 15 or 20 minutes, and then there's like a major attack at the end that decides the game. That's fine. I just don't want to see games where you sit back the entire time, turtle up, and there's no action. As you know from watching not just me, but any of the guys who do this, casting by yourself is really hard. You don't have anybody to bounce off of. You don't have, especially me, who is not necessarily the most knowledgeable about strategies. Not that that matters at a lower level, because none of you guys are doing like, you know, NKP's 3 racks rush or anything that's so technical that I could comment on your. Not that you're even good enough, frankly, to be able to pull off those kinds of builds. So whether I know, you know, that much about this game, oh man. Sorry, I'm just laughing because Kal-El's queued up a butt ton of SCVs. This is something that I will do, though. When I see mistakes like this, I'll point them out, and I'll try not to be too harsh. Sometimes I can't help myself. But there's a reason why. These 3 SCVs are 50 minerals each, and instead of making those 3 SCVs in the time you're waiting for them to come out, you could be making a 3rd barracks. This guy could be making a marine. This guy could also be making marine. You could be producing other things that are important to your success in the game while you're queuing up those other units. So you want to be very careful, and part of having good macro is not queuing up your units like that. So just so you know, and that's something to work on. It's not going to happen if you... What is going on there? I have never seen this before. I've never seen someone make 2 barracks, add tech structures, and then lift them off. A wild star girl has appeared.
I think I know what your problem is.
You think you know what my problem is?
Yeah.
I've got a lot.
The blue guy just put his barracks down on the bottom.
Yeah, he put them on the low ground to like kind of wall off here so we can expand,
yeah.
Which is not a terrible thing to do, except, and I guess if he's going to go super mech, I guess it's okay. If he's going to make Hellions and tanks, it's not a bad idea. Just very strange. And you see those kinds of things at bronze level. You see them all the time. That's why it's not so important to know strategy at the lower levels, because ain't no bronze player worried about his strategy, let me tell you. Because
I don't know why people.
they're much more there's much more to worry about than your strategy at the lower levels. You have to be paying attention to your macro and all those kinds of things. So as I was saying, I don't even remember what I was saying. Probably about what kind of games not to send in. But also, if you've sent in replays and they've been denied, hopefully I've written to you and told you why. I usually try to do that. I will only do that usually on your very first submission. On your first submission, if you submit and it doesn't go through, I'll try and explain why and give you pointers, or my screener will, on what kind of games we're looking for. But beyond that, I generally do not respond to submissions. If I'm going to cast it, you will not get a response. You'll just have to wait and see it on the channel. Generally, turnaround for a replay submission is about 2 weeks or so. Maybe a little longer, since the queue is starting to get a little beefy again, which I'm very appreciative of. That means you guys are interested. Look at Shaky sneaking an expansion over here at the gold. Sneaky McSneakerson. Shaky's the red Protoss.
And who's the blue guy over there?
Blue guy's name is Kal-El. And he is making some tanks. And this is weird, again, not using the tech lab. This is just...
Why is he not using that tech lab?
Not tech lab, the reactor. Initially, I thought it was like kind of interesting that he's putting his tech lab down, but it's silly. What he's done is just not an efficient use of the building. Like, he built this reactor and he has yet to build a unit on the reactor. While his starport was building, he could have pumped out a few Hellions on there if he wanted to.
Oh, yeah?
He could have done all kinds of things. Now he's going to make Vikings. He's got no reason to believe he needs Vikings, because
to make Vikings?
well, it's a good question, because he doesn't have any air units and he hasn't scouted, so he's got no reason to think that he needs air units. And Vikings would not be the choice you want to make, obviously. So I don't talk about scouting as much as I used to, but since we are getting a lot more lower level guys submitting games, I'm going to have to start talking about more basic stuff. Scouting is the #1 most important aspect of this game, second only to macro.
These guys are getting a lot of money.
Yep, this guy, look at this. Shaky's got a gold base. He's sending over probes, none of which are mining. This guy is just sitting there idle. At least the other two now guys are actually working. He's not. There he goes. Now he's working. And Kal-El's taking the other gold base, but again, Shaky hasn't scouted anything. He's never even scouted his opponent's base at all, so he has no idea what he's up against. And Kal-El doesn't know either. And again, these guys are bronze, and that's the thing. One of the things about NuubCast that is important to understand. Oh, Q and the observers.
Hey, even they got bronze too.
They're all bronze, baby. Both these guys are bronze players.
Let's do that blues bronze.
But see, Shaky's not making a bunch of probes, so that's why his money's down pretty bad. So
and look at the blue guy's money.
Yeah, he's got way too much money. He's not spending it. He's making buildings in production, but he's not making any units.
Well, he's gonna
and now he's got a barracks back on the reactor. Oh my goodness.
Oh,
and he's making a Raven and his cute 2 Banshees. My oh my.
A Raven and his cute dude back.
Baby, this is what bronze is all about. This is what bronze is all about.
Were you talking to me?
No.
Then who are you talking to?
I'm talking to the people who are listening.
Oh. Hey, can I talk too?
Yeah, I think you've already been talking.
Yeah. Hi everybody, it's me.
I think they know.
Because they hear me talking?
Yes. And what other me would there be other than Stargirl?
Well, my sister, my dragon sister that's a ghost is still watching TV.
Your dragon sister that is a ghost
Yeah.
is still watching TV. I see.
She loves penguins in Madagascar.
Oh, I see. Well, maybe you, you should go and see what she's doing.
No.
We're going to cast your game right after this one, okay?
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Oh, Stargirl, itching to cast. Itching to cast. I love that. She loves to do it. I wish she'd like to play more because she doesn't really play that much anymore. So she has started to play again a little bit.
My sister was just watching TV, so...
But she has started to play again a little bit, so maybe we might see some Stargirl coaching in the future. Oh, but you are witnessing a bronzy extravaganza. We saw the pressure being put on by Shaky back there, and held easily by Kal-El's tanks here on the high ground. What I was commenting right before that attack, though, was it looks like we're going to see some Colossus coming from Shaky as these units move across the map. We take for granted that the play at this level is not going to be good. You know, we take for granted that bronze guys aren't going to have perfect play. And again, we're just looking for good games. In spite of the fact that it's two bronze players, we know that they're not going to have perfect games, perfect strategies, you know, that they're going to lift off barracks and leave their tech buildings sitting there. You know, those things are kind of, we take those things for granted. So Shaky went out and took out that planetary fortress before it got to finish, and now Kal-El still doing fine, still has 2 bases. And he's actually, looks like he's doing a fairly decent job of using his energy. He's almost mined out here now. I guess he's afraid he's going to be supply block because he's building like a crap ton of supply depots. And Shaky is, even though he's not mining well, he's doing a good job of spending his money. You see the money staying low, even though he doesn't have a bunch of... He's not using his chrono boost. He's not really making a whole lot of... He's continuing to make pros, but he's making them over here. The gold. And there's the Banshee with the Raven. He's going to drop some kind of turret or anything. I thought he was about to. Looked like he was about to. There you go. There you go. Drop another one. Go ahead. Drop another one. So tit for tat. Kal-El's going to be able to take out Shaky's expansion. And the only way you get there is by scouting. You know, the only way you're going to find out what's over there is by scouting. Is he stuck in there? I think this Colossus is stuck in there. I don't think he can get out. Which neither of these guys have done. And if Shaky hadn't walked up into the base, he wouldn't have seen anything either. But he went and was aggressive and attacked. So, for you guys who are low-level bronze and silver guys, the things you want to be aware of, you know, and this, first of all, let me recommend watching Day 9's Newbie Tuesday, one of the early Newbie Tuesdays on the important things to know is, you know, like pylons and probes, or SCVs and supply depots if you're Terran. You want to constantly be making workers and constantly be building supply depots so that you don't get supply blocked and so that you always have enough people mining gas, because your economy is the most important part of your game. It's what allows you to build your army, obviously. And then, besides that, the second most important thing in my mind is scouting. If you don't know what your opponent is doing, then you cannot hope but fail. Macro, the queuing stuff is part of macro. You don't want to necessarily spend your money like that. Like, this is just bad. And when you have reactors like this, it's somewhat more acceptable. But you don't want to queue up 8. Queue up 4, you know? you know, if you have to queue at all. But even still, queuing is bad in any sense. 2 command centers going down here for Kal-El. Interesting, which means he wants to expand again. We have Colossus out for Shaky, but he's not moving them with his army, and he's still spending his money. And I see Shaky is not aware of how to rally units to. Oh yeah, he is. Okay. What else can we talk about here? Yeah, scouting. I can't say enough about scouting. You've got to scout the map. You've got to scout the map to find out where your opponent is. Oh, and he's going to unpower all his own buildings. Well, just this one. He doesn't really need to have it powered if he's not going to upgrade with it. But now he can get out with his Colossus. And he can attack if he wants. And Shaky does not have enough, obviously. This is hugely one-sided. I'm starting to question how this got through screening. It might have just been, I mean, we try to be a little bit more lenient on the bronze players because we know that the gameplay is going to be less than adequate, but it does provide with learning opportunities and ability to talk a little bit about some of the things that we don't get to talk about all the time. Things like scouting, things like queuing units, which is important if you're new to the game. If you're a lower level player, these are things that you need to know, be aware of, and try to fix. We've got interesting use of a warp prism here. It's loaded up. Probably not the best. Uh-oh. How did you know about that? How did he see that? How did he see that? How did you see that, Kal-El? You haven't scouted a thing all game. How did you know that drop was coming? I mean, you can't be this bad and be map hacking. You can't. You can't map pack and be this bad at this game. Sorry. It's just not gonna work. And he's loading up 2 warp prisms, which only carry 4 units each, and he's gonna go out and expand. No, I don't know. Where do you think you're going with these, Holmes? Where did he send them? I don't see even a queue.
Fall back to the shadows.
Holy free holies. Now there comes the drop from Kal-El. He's going to do lots of damage. He's taken out a pylon, and now Kal-El is supply blocked. He's got plenty of stalkers here, so these air units are going to die super fast. And even with the cloak, he's got observers. So that was held really well by Shaky, actually. And now Kal-El's supply, the gap between supplies is lowered a fair amount. Not a huge amount. But look at this. All of these, you always want to keep your workers working. You're about to be mined out in both your bases, so you're going to have to move some guys over. Wow, that was interesting. Built a planetary fortress over here. Oh my goodness! Took out a Colossus with 1 tank. Oh, you got to watch your pathing, guys. And now this Colossus is going to walk up here all by himself, and look at this, not even pay attention, focusing down the bunker, and now he's dead, and now he has no... Oh boy. This is just bad, Shaky. It's bad. Kal-El did not bring his observers with him, or they got picked off because there were ravens. And so all of these units are going to die super fast. And I think this is going to be the end of the game. Absolutely. I think we should see GG any minute now. So yeah, not the most stellar of games, but a good opportunity to remind ourselves and remind you newer guys, new bronze players, guys who are new to the game, who don't play that much, that you definitely want to be scouting. There's the GG from Shaky. You definitely want to be scouting. You definitely want to be trying to find out what it is your opponent's doing. And there, Shaky leaves the game. And also an encouragement, you know. So you lower level guys, you see the kind of game that has gotten through. So don't be too afraid to send in your games for fear that they're going to be rejected. We take your skill level into account somewhat. Don't think that you're going to get away with no attacks until 30 minutes in a 50-minute game. It's not going to happen. And also, speaking of game length, you guys who are sending me 45 and 50-minute games, 9 times out of 10, unless the game is absolutely outstanding, it's not going to get through screening. Just so you know, try and keep them 30 minutes or below, because, or at least 30 minutes in real time, which is probably about 40-minute game time. Again, unless they're really excellent. Mostly because your attention span is not that long, and very few people will watch a full 30-minute game. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging in. Tomorrow should be another Stargirl cast, and hope you will be looking forward to and enjoy that. In the meantime, keep climbing that ladder, and please stop queuing units. Peace.